This is a young picture of actor Tom Cruise. And this is the same picture of him with his eye area altered into unattractive measurements. Notice how his facial attractiveness has decreased dramatically. Our eyes are one of the, if not probably the most important features of our face and one of the hardest features to improve. A 2020 study says the eye area as the most difficult area of activity for aesthetic treatment. And since there's a lot of BS regarding this topic, here's a scientific guide on how to improve your eye area. Starting with eye width to height ratio, the width of your eyes should be greater than the height of your eyes. Ideally, the horizontal length should be 3 times wider than its vertical length. The ideal measurement is greater than 3 as seen in attractive men. However, there's an exception to this rule. Here's American actor Jared Leto with his beady doll-shaped eyes, but he still manages to look good due to his strong bone structure, neutral canthal tilt and good orbital shape. I did notice his eye area became unattractive as he aged, perhaps due to aging and the Hollywood lifestyle.
Some people like my eyes, some people like my lips, but I mean that's not what you focus on.
Your eye width to height ratio is mainly influenced by 2 things which determine your eye shape. Orbits and palpebral fissure. Your orbital shape determines your overall eye shape. Vertically compact and horizontally wide orbitals are ideal as your eyes will look masculine, alarming, mysterious and confident. Good development of supra and infra-orbitals causes deep-set and hooded eyes. Poor development or large orbits will make your eyes appear prayish and unattractive, because large orbits cause hollowness, which is a sign of aging. As you age, your orbital area increases with age, showing signs of lack of fertility and youthfulness. Upper eyelid exposure causes eyes to look beta, prayish and like a bug. Blue-pilled surgeons and other so-called lookism content creators will give you coping blue-pilled advice such as Botox, blepharoplasty, bone smashing and even mewing. For example, most methods suggested in this video are highly unscientific. The most effective method to correct upper eyelid exposure is supraorbital implants. Ideally, custom 3D printed peak implants with a drop-down style are placed on your supraorbital bone through a small incision, or through your hairline if you are going for a custom forehead implant with supra. Results depend from person to person as factors such as the surgeon, implant material and designer are taken into account, but here's one example of what you can expect from supraorbital implants. Excess vertical height of orbitals causes upper eyelid exposure and excess skin show, which results in hollowness and a tired look. In simple words, the area where you see is lacking bone is your supraorbital bone. Lacking this bone causes upper eyelid exposure. When a supraorbital implant is placed, it mimics as a bone filling up the recessed area, which reduces your upper eyelid exposure, giving you a more attractive eye area. It's very similar to a chin or a jaw implant, all mimics bone, giving you a more defined face. Although you can grow your bone with osteotomy in some places of your face like the chin or maxilla, it's not possible to do that to your supraorbital bone to decrease eyelid exposure in 2023. Maybe in the future newer technology will help us to improve our looks. Now you may be asking why I am even talking about osteotomy when you can achieve the same with implants without cutting bone, as it appears more complicated and riskier to most people. There are mainly 2 reasons behind it. When we are talking about fillers, implants or osteotomies, we are talking about different ways to mimic recessed bone. Your facial bones are rigid, so the materials your surgeon plans to use should be rigid to be able to mimic bone. So it makes sense why we cannot use fillers to fix a recessed chin, as it's not rigid and will look very uncanny. Even after that, I see most people waste their money on fillers, and even some surgeons suggest fillers for jaw deficiency as a cheaper and less riskier option. On the other hand, implants are more rigid and provide a better result than fillers. But even if you use custom 3D printed implants, they can sometimes look slightly uncanny if the size of the implant is big. For example, if your chin is recessed by 8 mm, it would be better to get a genioplasty than a chin implant. As in genioplasty, your body is forced to grow new bone, and since it's your bone, it will look and feel natural. The second reason that most people don't consider before going for an implant is implant rejection. If your body rejects the implant after surgery, you are gonna lose all the results. The same will not happen with an osteotomy, as it's your original bone, and your body isn't gonna reject your bone. Although the rejection rate is very low and some studies show the complication rate of implants is low, it's still worth mentioning. And considering the same success rate and a better result rate of osteotomy, it's better to go for osteotomies if possible. Upper eyelid fillers can be useful in some cases. For example, this subject has round orbitals, a round eyebrow shape with a very high vertical height of his orbitals and a negative canthal tilt. If your eye area is this bad, you are probably not gonna achieve the results you are looking for with implants. It's more reasonable to go with fillers. It's better to analyze your flaws before going for a certain surgery to prevent damaging your face and wasting your money. This subject's main flaw is his extreme negative canthal tilt, not upper eyelid exposure. Having no upper eyelid exposure or hooded eyes doesn't automatically make your eyes attractive. Which one do you think is more attractive? Notice the one you find attractive has a slight negative canthal tilt. Not one, but several factors determine the attractiveness of your eyes. Compare these so-called hunter eyes with prey eyes. Which one do you think is attractive? I will make what makes eyes attractive in future. But the point is, many factors determine attractiveness. If you have one or two flaws, your eyes will be still considered attractive if other factors are ideal. This is Brazilian model Marlon Teixeira. Notice his asymmetrical upper eyelid exposure, but still manages to look attractive. This is Instagram model Nick Kaufman with his visible upper eyelid exposure. Do you think his eyes are unattractive? You can pull off a little bit of eyelid exposure if your other factors are ideal. In general, upper eyelid exposure is considered a flaw, especially in men, not so much in females. This is known as sexual dimorphism. Large round eyes are more feminine and considered more attractive in females. Similarly, hunter eyes are considered more masculine than almond eyes due to a higher EWHR and hooding. More on that later. If you have one flaw and seeing some attractive guy pulling off that flaw doesn't necessarily mean you have the same ability to do so. I see many short guys cope with actor Tom Cruise, not realizing their face doesn't look like Tom Cruise's or have the same status and money. Compare subject A with subject B. Notice sub B is more attractive even though he has slight upper eyelid exposure and slight scleral show. Subject A has negative orbitals whereas subject B has straight orbitals. Unfortunately, if you have negative orbitals, you can't do anything to fix them. You probably have to wear glasses all the time as he does. Subject A has an unideal eyebrow shape compared with the straight positively tilted eyebrows of subject B, large dark brown iris compared to an ideal sized green iris, and many more. I have made a post regarding this on Instagram. You can check that out if you want to learn more about it. The reason your eyes are unattractive is because most of your features are unattractive. Try analyzing what is affecting you and find solutions if available. I have noticed many guys complaining about eyelid exposure on forums when it's other things like eye width to height ratio affecting their eyes. In this video, I tried to cover upper eyelid exposure, which is about 20% of the problem. In the next part, hopefully I will cover the rest of it. We are currently working on implant design and manufacturing for surgery, because most surgeons don't really know what makes a face attractive, they just know how to operate. We also provide looks maxing and facial analysis services. The link is in the description.